Hello dear friends, I welcome you all to the session once again and hope all of you are doing well. As you know that we are continuing with one area of learning, that is food and beverage management, and already under these we have learned about the menu management. We have there learned menu planning, menu engineering and menu merchandising. These three topics we have covered in very detailed format. Hopefully by this time you have understood that lesson and also tried your best to explore it further for your best understanding. Today we're going to touch up now the control function. We call it food and beverage control function or control system. This class will be another one unique initiative to know the overall control system and then slowly going into the depth of this subject matter. Okay, so once again from my side, this is the host Bonupul Banerjee. Welcome you all to this class that is on food and beverage management in the channel that is Hospitality Education PPT. So here we go. First of all, we are going to discuss about the word control, and depending on that we'll try to understand about the control function. Now what is control? Literal meaning all of you know. I'm not going to discuss the literal or lexical meaning of the word control, but I can take one very simple example from our daily life so that we can understand the control system, and also we can easily understand to start with the importance of it. Now what is that example from our life? In all of our home we are having air conditioner machine in our room. Okay, and all these air conditioning machine having a thermostat control system. So mind that I am using the word thermostat control system. That means thermostat control is a kind of system which is installed there to control the what? That is the temperature of the room. Now suppose how it functions. Suppose you want to set your air conditioning machine at 24 degrees Celsius. Now your thermostat knows his job. The moment you make the air conditioning machine on, switch on, the thermostat control will start operating. Temperature will start coming down to 24 degrees Celsius because that is your set. Air conditioning machine will work accordingly. The moment it will reach to the level of your desired temperature, and in this case it is 24 degrees Celsius. So thermostat control instantly instruct the air conditioning machine to stop. So that means beyond that temperature should not go down. It should not go to 23, 22, 21 like that. It will remain steady at 24 degrees Celsius and continue for some time. How long it will continue? Now slowly what will happen otherwise? The temperature of the room will start increasing. Once it will increase to a level, again thermostat control will give the instruction to your air conditioning machine that again you start operating to control it at 24 degrees Celsius. You got my point. So AC machine will be operating once again, and like that it will go. That means that once you set some standard, you are performing, your performance is checked against the standard. Any deviation, again you start reassessing and start performing again. You got my point? That is the whole function of the control system. How it works in our AC, the similar way it is elaborately works in a any business scenario. So here today we are going to discuss about the control function. What is that control in the hospitality industry? Control refers to the process of ensuring that every aspect of operations, that is service quality, budget utilization, staff performance, guest satisfaction, inventory management, and more, is in alignment with the organization's standards and objectives. That is the purpose of the control. You have to control these because we have already set a standard, you have to control. And then, what are the aspects of this control in the hospitality? What it does exactly? Firstly, it's monitoring. It's like the example I have cited in the beginning, that is monitoring the temperature of the room. Here it is monitoring the condition of the business. What is that? Regularly reviewing the key performance indicators like your room occupancy rates. Suppose it is going low, then cost of the food is going higher, cost of the beverage is going higher, or customers' feedback is not as, as per your expectations. So naturally you are monitoring all those things. So that is one aspect of control system. And then what? You are evaluating. How we are evaluating? Comparing actual outcomes, that is the revenue and expenses, and how we are comparing to set standards or budgets. So we are having already a standard set or a budget is kept. Suppose in particular work you are having, say, this work, the budget is say 1 lakh of rupees. So 1 lakh is your standard. If your budget is going more than that, or if your budget is not reaching to that level of 1 lakh, that means your budgeting process is having some kind of repairment needed, that your budgeting is not correct. You got my point? So you'll be able to evaluate it with your performances. And then another one aspect is there, that is taking corrective action. That means addressing discrepancies for what? To improve efficiency and to reduce the waste, that means the waste management, and or enhance guest experiences. That is why you have to control. So monitoring, evaluating, and taking corrective actions, that is the aspect of control system in the hospitality industry. Fine? Is that fair enough to understand? Okay, let's proceed to the next. Then, what is management in the hospitality industry? Let us explore. In this context, management involves organizing, leading, and coordinating the resources. And what are the resources you are having? You are having human resource, financial resource, physical resource, and technological resource. And all these required to deliver exceptional guest experiences and achieve your business goal or business target. So that is your management. So control, management control is altogether of this. Control is basically setting a standard, monitoring it, evaluating it, and then taking corrective actions. And management is basically manipulating all those things to get the optimum result out of your control system to reach the business goal. Okay. Now, what are the aspects? Prime aspect is the planning. You need to plan it well, designing strategies to meet operational and customer service goals. That is the first priority of management. That means you have to plan. Second is organizing it, structuring teams, departments, or processes to optimize workflows. That is to organize. Then third is leading. Leading means what? Guiding the staff to excel in service, delivery, innovation, and problem solving. It is on the process, leading it, and then controlling it, implementing standards, and monitoring performances across the areas such as housekeeping, front desk, food service areas, and events, and many others of that kind, controlling it. These are the four aspects of management. You got my point? Fine. Now, I have used the word management resources in our earlier slides. What are the resources we are having now? Resources are the assets of an operation. Resource. You need to purchase something, you need a resource. Resource is what? That is the money. Without money, you cannot purchase that product. So you need that money is the resource for you. Food and beverage managers are responsible for 8 basic categories of resources. What are those? Number one is the people, because you will be working with the people around you. Then you need money to run the business. Then the products you are going to generate or produce or create. Then time, you have to deliver it within a time frame. Time is very important. Procedures, you cannot have a procedure which is very lengthy, should be very crisp, very optimal, and also very to the point. Your procedure should be anything, whatever you want to do, that procedure is must and very correct and crisp procedure has to be there. Energy, facilities available, and equipment. So all these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all these 8 resources are there with you. But all resources are in limited supply. Don't think that as a manager, you will have all these resources plenty in front of you. They will be available to you, but in limited supply. Very simple example. If you ask for a money, I cannot pump in money into the business. It should have a limit because it's a limited supply. Within that money, you have to manipulate, you have to manage. So that is one example, right? So all resources are in limited supply. No manager has all the people, all the money, products, and all other resources that he or she would like to work with. You got my point? So there will be some challenges in front of you always. The part of a manager's job is to decide how best sorry, to use the limited resources available to attain the organization's objective. You got my point? So management resources, the tricky part is that all the resources will be there in limited amount, not in full length. So all the resources may not be available to you. Now, what is your role then? Your role is that whatever available resources are there with you, you have to utilize them, and then depending on that, you have to get the best result which will reach to the organizational goal or objectives. That is the challenge for you as a manager. You got my point? Fine. Now let us think about the objectives. What the management of the operation wishes to accomplish, that is basically the objective. The objectives of F&B operations often center on what are the objectives of the F&B management operations. Number one, about the profit or to control the cost level. That is one objective. Maintaining or increasing financial strength during changing social and economic conditions. That is one of your objectives. Guest concern, your marketing policies, that is also to meet the marketing policies, that is your another concern. Guest is another one concern. Professional obligations, that is also to meet that, that is one another one objective. And then societal concern, your society and all activities, all these things should be synchronized. In this, societal concern is very much required. So this is overall the objective of your business, that is F&B operations, right? Now let us discuss management as a process. We have discussed about control, we have discussed about management. Now we are going to discuss the management as a process. Firstly, the planning part. Already we have discussed that. Define organizational objectives that can be measured objectively and outline broad courses of action that will help attain the objectives. So we need to have a proper planning, how it will be conducted, how this task will be performed, how this food and beverage business will go step by step. So you need to plan each and every stages properly, so that in future you can take actions on each area once you are very specific about your planning. So planning is one important part. Second is organizing it. To make the plan successful, you need to organize, assemble staff and other resources, and develop channels of communications needed to carry out plans. You need to have channels, that means the manager, below that other people, supervisors, and then working staff, all these things will be there, so that the communication will be channelized properly and entire thing will be organized. Then coordinating. You have planned, already you have what you did, organized, then you are coordinating. Assure that the positions and activities that have been organized work together to accomplish the objectives. You are coordinating, every line of staff should have the proper coordinations among themselves, otherwise implementing the planning part will be very difficult. And if it is not implemented properly, not executed properly, what will happen? Ultimately, you won't be reaching to the objective of the business. The goal won't be reached, and your business will be having a loss. It will suffer a loss. So you need to coordinate it properly. Then staffing, select the right person, put them under proper orientation, provide them training, schedule and evaluate people for necessary positions. You have to do that proper staffing. Leading, it means effectively supervise personnel to ensure that they are productive and that the job satisfies them personally and professionally. So you have to lead. You have to check from both the sides, whether professionally they are made and personally also they are satisfied with their job. That is known as the leading out. Controlling, develop standards and collect information to compare actual performance with expected performance, so that corrective actions can be taken if necessary. If you see that your AC machine having fixing the temperature at 24 degrees Celsius and knowing that thermostat is working well, you have noticed that somehow the temperature is not retaining the standard. That means something is wrong somewhere in the system. Maybe thermostat is not working well. You have to need to check that, evaluate the performance of the thermostat, and take necessary action accordingly. That is what is known as controlling. Okay. Then evaluating, determine the extent to which the organization's objectives are attained. You have to evaluate that to what extent the objective is attained. Now, overview of the management process. It has got different stages. First is the initial activities. Second is pre-opening activities before you start the actual business. Then operating activities, that means that once the business is on, it is on roll. And then appraisal activity, that means once the business has rolled for a specific period of time, then evaluating the performances and taking the different management calls to repair it or enhance it further for better objective results or better to achieve the goal in a better way, very close way. Okay, so these are the four stages of overview of the management process. Now we'll break down this. The previous, we have given you some points and we'll try to put them under these four areas. Firstly, initial activities, it is only the planning part. You have to plan it in detail, right? Then pre-opening activities. Under pre-opening activities, we are going to organize it, coordinating it, and staffing it properly, selection of staff, training them, orientation, doing proper orientations, all these things you need to do. Then operating activities. This is leading and controlling. That means this is, at this stage the business is on, you have to lead and control. Now if you see that there is a need to change the process, then you have to go back to the initial phase here and then find out organizing the coordinating staff, organizing, coordinating and staffing. You have to go back to that stage and then leading and controlling it and coming back. If not, then start evaluating the business. If you evaluate, now if you need to go for some revision in your planning, then you will go back to the initial stage, that is the planning stage. You got my point? So overview of the business is that we are having four sections. One is the initial activities, then pre-opening activities, then operating activities, and then appraisal activities. All these things are there. And then the planning under initial activities, from planning stage to another one stage, that is the pre-opening activities, that is organizing, coordinating and staffing. And from there the business is on, that is leading and controlling. Then it will be a continuous process. And if you see at this stage that you need to change the procedure, you go back to the pre-opening activity stage, that is organizing, coordinating and staffing stage. You may have some problem there, you need to change some procedures and do that accordingly. And if not, then go straightway for evaluating the performance. And if you check the evaluations result, and depending on that, you can take some revision call. You go back to the planning stage and then again start operating. So it is a circle altogether. You got my point? Fair enough. If you are having any questions, please put it in the comment box so that I'll be able to clarify it in a better way as per your understanding level. Right? Now the control process. Control is a series of coordinated activities. It is not a single activity, coordinated activities that helps managers to ensure that the actual results of operations closely match the planned results. Otherwise, like while flying a kite, how you control with the thread, you have to control it. Same thing is out here. The control is a process which actually series of activities which manager develops to ensure the actual results and the operations closely matching with the planned results. Okay. An effective control system is important because managers must know how the operation is doing, whether and to what extent it is meeting the goals. So you have already set your objective. Your control system is on. If you see the deviation is maximum from your standards, then you have to find out very seriously that something is absolutely wrong in some stages. then you have to pinpoint specifically those areas and take actions. If it is very close to your reachable objective, the potential objective, then your business is in the right track. Okay, you have to take calls accordingly as per the evaluation result. What is basically we are looking for? Determine whether delegated tasks are being carried out correctly or not. You have to find out that whether your staffs are performing their task as per the delegated authority. Assess the effect of changes necessitated by the economy, market, and or reactions to competitions. You have to assess that effect of changes. Any changes you have done, you brought in the process, you have to find out what is the end result of it. Identify problems early so that they can be resolved before they turn into bigger problems. That is very, very natural. Why we require to supervise in every level and monitoring it in every level? Because you have to identify the problem. And whenever in a very early stage of the problem, we have to take control over there. Otherwise, this problem will magnify and ultimately create a bigger problem for all of us in the business. Determine where problems are occurring. You have to pinpoint exactly where the problem is occurring and identify mistakes and lead to actions to correct these mistakes. These are basically the activities under control process. Now let us see what are the basic steps in control process. First, you have to establish the standards. Then measure the actual results because that is the time the business is on operating stage. Then compare the actual to the standards. That means now you are comparing, that means evaluating it. If it is result is acceptable, then you go back to the stage again and start continuing with the same process. That means measure the actual results, again you compare, again go back, let it run, because you got acceptable results. Okay. But you are always supervising. Yes. Got the acceptable result does not mean that you will stop supervising it and managing it. You have to always keep a very keen watch on every steps they are following. Now, if the result is not acceptable, then you have to take corrective actions. Now, what kind of corrective actions you can take? You can have two ways of taking corrective actions. One is change the procedure. It may happen that you have found out some problems there in the process. So change the process. That is one. And once you change the process, again from there you start running the business, then measure actual results, compare the actuals with the standards, and then again take, if it is acceptable, go back to the original and continue operating. If not, then again you take corrective actions. Then in this case, it may happen that your standards you have said that is not very correct, then you have to re-establish your standards and then again go on with the process. So this is overall the basic steps involved in a control process. You got my point? Again, I am advising you, if you are having any problem, please put it there in the comment box. I'm there to give you the right answer or better explanation for it. Clear? Fine. Now, we have discussed since then about the planning, coordinating, leading, organizing, all these things. Now we'll see the overall methodology of F&B control, depending on which we'll go to the next lesson. Okay. Total overall methodology of F&B control has got three stages. One is the planning stage, which is set by the senior management. Second is the operational stage, which is day-to-day control by the supervisors and HODs, head of the departments. And then third stage is the post-operational stage. That means once the process is over, it is also day-to-day control by the food and beverage control department. So first you have to plan, operate, and then take post-control operational measure. Now, in the planning stage, you are having financial policy. You have to set right the financial policy. What will be your financial policy that needs planning? Then what will be your marketing policy that you are going to finalize it in the planning stage? And depending on both of these policies, you have to find out your food and beverage policy. That is your planning stage. Once the planning stage is over, then your business is on the run. And now we are talking about food and beverage. Now this is the main area of food and beverage. Well, see, starting with purchasing. Purchasing of what? Raw materials, fine. And then receiving it at your premises. Receiving also needs a proper monitoring with some control system installed there. So you have to receive the standard items. After proper receiving, then storing or issuing them, that is also very important, because if you are not going to store them as per their characteristics of the ingredients, then there will be a loss because they might get spoiled very fast. And if it is spoiled, you cannot utilize it in your business anymore. And that means it is a loss. Similarly, issuing, if someone asks for 1 kilo and you are issuing him 1.2 kilos, so naturally it is not a very correct way of dealing with the issuing part. So you should have a proper system there also while issuing. So storing and issuing is also another one area you need to look at in the system. And then preparing it. Now you are actually in the kitchen where you are preparing the raw food from the starting from the raw materials to the final product. So there, that area we are having so many minor areas which will act as a major role, which will play the major role in affecting your profit in the business. So preparing is another one very concerned area in this F&B management business. And then finally selling the product. So this is your operational stage, and every stages of it, it will be looked after by the supervisors and head of the departments. Okay, these are middle stage of your methodology of food and beverage control system. That means your policy is the planning stage, then operational purchasing, receiving, storing and issuing, preparing and selling. All these things require a proper control system to get a best result out of your business. And once selling is done, then it comes a third stage, that is post operational stage, which will be day to day controlled by food and beverage control department. And what happens here? Post operational management control is basically you judge your performance, evaluate it, draw some conclusions, and then take measures and pass these informations to the down the line so that they can take necessary actions where it went exactly wrong. Okay, and then again you start planning from the beginning, then again operational stage and post operational stage. So planning stage, operational stage, and post operational stage, and going back again to the planning stage, all these things is a cyclic order. It will run and run continuously, and every time what will happen, will get a continuous feedback from every stages through your proper control system. So this is your overall picture of the food and beverage control system. We have established that. Next week, we'll definitely continue with the next part of it. That means we'll go in detail about this operational stage area, right? So today, thank you very much for attending this session. Hope you have enjoyed that. You are having many questions, many doubts, and I need your feedback from that angle. Don't forget to put your comments there. You always make me busy by putting your questions there, so I'll be able to give you the proper answer, justifications, Right now, we can see that my contact details are there. If you are having any issues, you can always mail me. You can also put me in the comments in the channel where it will be uploaded in YouTube. That is Hospitality Education PPT. And if you have liked this session, don't forget to subscribe it and then press the bell button. So next time, whenever any new lesson will be uploaded, we'll be getting the intimations very fast. So up to this, we are ending it today now. So take care. We'll meet you soon. Bye bye.